This is the Ridstar Q20 Electric Bike. When I first saw this bike, what really caught my eye was its bold, sporty look. It's got these big, fat 20-inch tires, a full suspension system, and this unique, slightly futuristic frame that honestly looks like it wants to take on anything from city streets to dirt trails. I picked up my Q20 off Amazon. The listing claimed a classic look, and it definitely has its own identity. Think chunky tires, a sturdy aluminum frame, and that big cushy saddle that just invites you to hop on. From my experience, assembling the Ridstar Q20 is pretty straightforward. It arrives mostly pre-assembled, though I'll be honest, it was a bit intimidating for me since I'm not super handy. All the tools you need are in the box, and the instructions are pretty clear, but it's a good idea to double-check that everything is tight, especially the bolts and the brakes, before heading out for your first ride. I had a couple of loose bolts on mine, so a quick check gave me peace of mind. One thing I need to mention right away, this bike is heavy. I mean, it's around 80 pounds with the battery, and you feel it if you're trying to lug it upstairs or move it into a vehicle. That said, once you're rolling, the weight isn't a huge deal, but just know up front, if you're looking for something super portable, keep this in mind. Let's talk key features. The Ridstar Q20 I bought comes with a 1500-watt brushless hub motor. People often ask me, what does that even mean? In simple terms, it's the reason the bike can pull hard off the line and maintain speeds up to 33 miles per hour if you unlock it. In pure electric mode, which means you're not pedaling at all, this thing absolutely moves. Riders up to about 330 pounds can use it, but if you're heavier, expect to lose a little bit of speed at the top end. I'm 5'6" and 147 pounds, and I can get up to about 30 to 32 miles per hour on flats before the battery starts dipping. The acceleration's got some kick, but I never feel out of control. The 7-speed Shimano system really helps, especially on hills. If you're new to e-bikes, the gears mean you can combine your pedaling with the electric assist, which saves battery and gives you a little workout too. It's perfect for folks who want both convenience and a bit of exercise. The screen on the handlebars is one of my favorite small touches. It gives you speed, battery level, trip distance, and lets you adjust settings like headlight brightness, which is handy for night rides. Range is one of those things you'll see hyped online, so let me give it to you straight. Ridstar claims up to 80 miles using pedal assist on the lowest setting, or around 35 miles if you're just using the throttle all the time, no pedaling. From my experience, with a full battery and my average riding style, realistically, you'll get somewhere between 28 and 35 miles if you're using mostly throttle at close to max speed. If you rely heavily on pedal assist and stick to eco mode, you can definitely stretch that number out. There's a removable battery, which means you can pop it out and charge it indoors, but charging does take a few hours. Factor that in on long trips. Suspension is another thing I was curious about before buying. Most cheaper e-bikes might have front suspension only, but the Q20 gives you a full suspension setup. Front fork, rear shock, plus fat, puncture-resistant tires. My honest take, it makes a huge difference on ruts, potholes, and little jumps off curbs. I've taken it on light off-road trails and gravel, and while it's not a mountain bike, the suspension soaks up most bumps. But if you're expecting to bomb down rocky descents all the time, you might find the suspension a little soft for aggressive stuff. For most everyday riding, city commutes, park paths, even snow or sand, this thing is more than enough. The hydraulic disc brakes are responsive and make stopping pretty safe, even at higher speeds. I did have to tweak mine a little after the first few rides. The levers felt a bit spongy, so a quick adjustment helped. I strongly recommend you take your time and get a feel for the brakes before really pushing it, especially since this bike is way heavier than your average pedal bike. Sometimes, if I've been out in the rain or through mud, I'll give the rotors a wipe to make sure nothing's stuck there. Let's talk about the ride comfort. The saddle is bigger than most, so longer rides aren't a pain. The seating position feels natural for me, upright enough that I can see traffic and not hunch over the handlebars, which I appreciate. The fat tires and suspension mean you glide over little bumps and debris. The bike definitely absorbs a lot more road shock than I expected for this price. The handlebars are fairly adjustable, so you can tweak them a bit depending on your height. One detail I find really useful is the LCD digital display. It's bright and gives you key stats: speed, mode, remaining charge, and your trip distance. There's also a built-in USB port, so if your phone is dying, you can plug it right in. It even comes with a phone holder, which I didn't think I needed until I used it for GPS on longer rides. Headlights and taillights are bright, and you can actually change the brightness in the settings. Nighttime visibility is solid, and the brake light lights up when you hit the brakes, a feature I always look for, especially riding in traffic. There's also a horn, which to be honest, could be a little louder, but it does the job. Storage is a mixed bag for me. There's a small storage box out back, which is fine for tools or a small lock, but don't expect to stash much more than that. If you're carrying groceries or daily essentials, you'll want a backpack or maybe look into modding a rear rack. On the topic of modding, just about everything you'd want to replace, from brake pads to the display to the pedals, you can find it online, usually on Amazon. This is a big plus for me because it means I don't have to hunt for hard-to-find parts from the manufacturer. I'd recommend this for new riders or folks who want something reliable for commuting, recreational rides, or even those just-because trips around the neighborhood. The Q20 is definitely not built for super technical off-road stuff, but it's more than comfortable on city streets, bike paths, and tame trails. The fat tires and suspension handle rain, snow, and uneven roads better than most bikes I've owned. Maintenance so far has been minimal. Just tighten bolts once in a while, keep the chain clean, and maybe check the brakes every few weeks. I do suggest checking the hydraulic brake fluid if stopping power feels off. I had to give mine a quick bleed after about a month. There are a couple of things that could be better. The charger feels a bit flimsy, and while I haven't had issues yet, I'd love to see Ridstar include a beefier one in future versions. Also, for taller riders, the seat post might feel a bit short, so you may want to swap it out for a longer one. Battery life is holding up for me, though after weeks of use, I do notice it takes a little longer to charge than when I first got it. Still, the removable battery is a huge convenience. Weather hasn't caused me any issues yet, especially with the IP54 water resistance rating, but I do take it easy in heavy rain since e-bikes and water never fully mix. From my experience, the biggest question is it worth it? For around $1,000, including shipping, you're getting 95% of the performance and style of bikes that cost double or triple. Sure, bikes like the Super 73, Graffiti X, or Onyx look flashier and can go even faster, but those cost thousands more. Unless you really need that extra power, or just want to flex the badge, Q20 gets almost everything right: speed, comfort, and reliable build for daily riding. If anyone asks me if it's the best electric bike money can buy, I'm quick to say that while it's not perfect, it's easily the best value for the price I paid. I don't worry about taking it out at night or locking it up at the grocery store the way I might with a more expensive e-bike. Even if it got dinged or scratched, I'd be annoyed, but not heartbroken. In conclusion, the Ridstar Q20 electric bike stands out for its power, solid suspension, and comfort. It's perfect for city commuting, weekend adventures, or anyone wanting a fast, sturdy, fat-tire e-bike without spending a fortune. If you're new to e-bikes, want something reliable that doesn't need a lot of upgrades to get started, or just want to see what the buzz is all about, I'd recommend giving the Q20 a shot. With a year of warranty and good customer support, you've got some peace of mind to ride worry-free. You can find detailed information about the Ridstar Q20 electric bike in the comments section. See you in the next video.